From Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome to Sports Tonight. Friday. Friday's always a big sports night. Ellie, how you feeling?
Feeling all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's always so much. I always get just, when we get into Friday, it's just always so much because when you start with it's just so much football.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to start with today. Obviously, the Falcons. They'll be in Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. A lot of familiarity there. You got Arthur Smith, who is the head coach in Tennessee. A lot of the people on the Falcons coaching staff there have a lot of familiarity with the Tennessee Titans and that organization. So, big game for the Falcons, just from a standing standpoint, coming off a win last week. Obviously want to keep that momentum rolling. I'm looking for a win. What about you?
Yeah, I think obviously you're looking for a win every week, but
I'm thinking
especially against this Titans team.
Yeah.
Which is not that good.
Yeah. They've had some trouble. Look, this season hasn't been like your typical Titans team, right? I mean, they're normally pretty good under Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has made sure that they were a really competitive team year in and year out. This season they've struggled. This season they're only 2-4. It looks like kind of a transition season. They traded one of their best players, Kevin Bayard, the safety, this past week. So a lot going on there. A lot of people think they're maybe going to be in fire sale mode. A lot of people think Derrick Henry could be traded before the trade deadline. Ryan Tannehill's name hasn't brought it up, but Ryan Tannehill is going to be out this week. So I think that's the advantage Falcons, right?
Yeah, I mean, place your bets. Who's it going to be? Malik Willis or Will Levis? Who's going to start the game?
The great Will Levis. It seems like it's going to be Will Levis, at least from everything that I've seen. Looks like Levis will get the start. I mean, let's be real. Malik Willis, who's from Atlanta, he really hasn't. He hasn't been it for the Titans so far. And in his brief opportunities, playing quarterback hasn't gone well. He's basically been more of a runner, that sort of guy for them. So I think they'll just kind of see what the rookie has and just kind of see what they can deliver with that. But I would never say games in the National Football League are going to be easy. But I think the Falcons should win this game, flat out.
Absolutely, especially with the Titans' sort of putrid offense.
You're not big on Will Levis?
Versus the Falcons' pretty good defense. You know, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think if I had to, say, it's going to be 27-3 again, the Falcons are the 27.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing right now, too, is I think we're sort of seeing finally the decline of Derrick Henry a little bit. I think this season he only has one game over 100 yards. He doesn't seem to really be getting the ball as much. And I think he's at the point of his career where I think a lot of those carries have really taken their toll. He's a big back. Mm-hmm. He's probably been more durable than a lot of other bigger backs later in his career. But I think we're finally starting to see a little bit of a decline in how he's running the ball and kind of how they use him. This may be like his last year or so, maybe being a premier back before he goes into situational back mode. So for them, looking at their standpoint, I think it's going to be really key to really just like coaches talked about during the week. Game tackling is going to be a must. He's still a big guy. He's still a force out there on the football field. But I think this is a big week to see how far the Falcons have come, right?
Yes.
I think that if they go out there and take care of business like they're supposed to, and I think in a game like this, like they did last week in Tampa, if you go out there in a game that you're supposed to win like this against most likely a backup quarterback, if you're a good football team, if you think that you're a contending football team, these are the kind of games that you have to go up there and get.
Yeah, this is a team that you should beat, and those are the games you need to win. The Falcons can absolutely steal a game from a team they shouldn't beat, but you have to win the games that you should, quote-unquote, win in order to make those other games worth it.
And speaking of games you should win, University of Georgia tomorrow. UGA playing their famed rival, Florida Gators.
Fine, it's Georgia, Florida, and not Florida, Georgia. We've gotten multiple emails about this. Oh, it's got to be Georgia, Florida. When you're in the state of Georgia, I'm from Chicago. I always say it Florida, Georgia, because that's what makes sense.
I get it.
But fine, Georgia, Florida, it is.
You're right. Hey, so when you look at the matchup, once again, I think this is one of those games that should be no problem for UGA. I think it's a rivalry game. So obviously when it's a rivalry game, there's going to be emotions within the game. I think Florida will play with a little bit more adrenaline than they normally would against a regular opponent. It's obviously an SEC battle, not just an SEC battle, but a battle between two teams that don't like each other, two rival teams. So I do think Florida will come to play.
Especially when they got Steve Spurrier to give the pregame motivational speech.
Gotta love the
There's one man that hates Georgia alive. It's got to be Steve Spurrier. Well, he hates everybody, so.
Well, too bad for Florida that he's not the one actually coaching.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what they'll need in order for them to have a real chance to beat UGA. But once again, I don't think UGA is going to have a lot of problems in this game. I think they'll win by at least 2 touchdowns. Even without Brock Bowers, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll win. And I look for them to win by a couple touchdowns. What about you?
Line's 13.5 in favor of Georgia right now. I think that's fine. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and once again, like, I'm not saying too much of a big deal was made out of Brock Bowers not being there, but I think that when you look at UGA, they've never had a problem with guys stepping up when guys go down, right? I mean, there's a lot of talent. They get 4- and 5-star guys. Take nothing away from Brock Bowers. He's one of the best tight ends that have played college football in years, right?
Yeah.
However, the guys behind him are 4- and 5-star guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nature of the beast when you're at a big time school like the University of Georgia.
Especially a school that recruits specifically tight ends for some reason. This program really loves recruiting their 4- and 5-star tight ends.
Right.
Like Brock Bowers.
You got Oscar Delp behind him.
Delp behind him, yeah.
Right. And Oscar Delp has been worked in a lot in recent weeks, even with Brock Bowers there. He's been getting a lot more snaps. He'll step in there. Is he going to be Brock Bowers? No. He's not going to have 8 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown, most likely. So, but I think he can give you good enough production at the tight end position. They'll get good enough production from Carson Beck at the quarterback position. They'll run the ball with 2 or 3 guys like they normally do. They'll get Milton involved, and then you got Dejon Edwards. Yeah. You know, he's been a real workhorse for them in recent weeks, and they'll run the ball good enough. They'll get enough offense to win this game, and the UGA defense is going to be the UGA defense. That's what they do. They come up with stops. So I think they'll have no problem winning the game. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and call my score. I'm going 35-20 UGA.
I think it's going to be a little lower scoring than that. I'm going to go 28-14.
Okay, all right. Well,
just a little bit lower scoring, but not by much.
Well, it's etched now. So, those picks are on record, so we'll look back and see how we did next week, right? So let's get to the Hawks real quick before we get out of here. So the Hawks, their home opener tonight against the Knicks. They lost their season opener against the Charlotte Hornets the other night.
How do you lose to the Hornets?
Well, it's the NBA, Ellie.
How? The Hornets suck.
Well, in all fairness, we don't know that they suck because it's a new season, and there's only 1 game played, and they're 1-0. So I think
I'm a Bulls fan. The team that had a players-only meeting after one game.
Yeah, I heard about that one. That lets you know where their season is headed, right? So
I'm willing to go. This team sucks 1 game in. I'm not saying about the Hawks.
Right.
The Hornets are bad. How do you lose? How do you lose them?
Well,
the Hawks have playoff aspirations, but what are they doing?
I don't think anyone's confusing the Hawks for being a championship contender either, right? I mean, they're probably going to lose. And look, it's a long NBA season. NBA seasons are really long, right? 82 games. There's always going to be some nights you get up for it. Now, you probably should get up for an opening night game, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's the start of the season. But no, I think in the NBA, that's just sort of how things work. I mean, you're not going to come out there and have your A game for all 82 games, especially where they're at right now. They're probably working out some kinks. They didn't shoot the ball well from three-point range the other night. I think they shot like 4 of 29 or something.
It was 5 of 29,
yeah,
which is
really bad.
Not good at all.
No. It wasn't good. So that's not going to always be the case. They're not always going to shoot 5 of 29 from three-point range. They're going to be home tonight. They're going to be in front of the home crowd. The juices are going to be flowing. They're going to be excited about the home opener. They talked about it a lot yesterday as they was getting ready for they had a practice yesterday, and they were talking about, we can't wait to get in front of the home crowd. Those emotions are going to be there. A lot of those threes that didn't fall in the opener will fall tonight, and I fully expect the Hawks to win. I
don't know, man. They're playing the Knicks, which is another team that shocked the NBA world last season in terms of how far they went in the playoffs.
They did. They beat my Cavaliers in the first round of that playoffs, which kind of surprised me a little bit because I thought that we'd be able to beat them in the first round, but that didn't happen. I think the Knicks are going to be a solid team. I think they'll be really good. They're not the class at Eastern Conference, though.
No,
I think that lies with Boston and Milwaukee and some of those teams. But I think the Hawks and the Knicks are probably around that same level of team. I think both these teams would be very disappointed if they don't make the playoffs. I think they're kind of, just from a talent standpoint, I think they're very similar. But I think in a night like tonight, when emotions going through the crowd, it's the home opener. Teams feel good in their home opener. They get to play ball in front of the people, in front of the fans. They're feeling good. So, like I said, I fully expect them to win. It'd be a little bit disappointing if they lost, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I think they're going to lose.
Oh,
just got that gut feeling.
Come on, Ellie.
I just got that gut feeling.
You're killing me.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Man, negative here. No, look, I get it. I mean, from what you saw in that opening game against Charlotte, I don't blame you. But they're figuring some things out though. With the new with Quinn Snyder, he still hasn't. This is his first offseason he's had with the team, so they're still figuring out some kinks. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see. I think they'll be better tonight though. So let's before we go to this interview that Bailey Burmaster had, right? Just, the MLS playoffs right around the corner. Atlanta United headed for them, right? They got Columbus Crew, correct? So that's they'll be starting in the playoffs against. So this is really an interesting time, right? And our sports director, Bailey Burmaster, said, let me see if I can get his name right, all right? Giorgos Giakoumakis?
I believe that's right.
Did I hit it?
I think so.
Okay. I feel like I hit it. So there's a lot to talk about there, just between his adjustment. This was his first year with the team. His adjustment, he helped them, obviously, because they're a playoff team this year. He's been key to that playoff push. So our own sports director, Bailey Burmaster, sat down with him and had a long talk about all things soccer and a lot of things just with his life, too. Check it out.
Before we talk football, I want to talk about life in Atlanta. What were your first impressions when you got here?
Well, when I was in talks with the team, I had no one to call or ask about the city. So what you do is just make a research on the internet. So first 5 articles were criminality in Atlanta. I was like, where I'm going. And thank God I had a former teammate in Celtic. He's American, Carter Vickers. He said, don't read anything, don't be afraid of anything. The team will guide you where to move, where to go. You're going to be completely safe. And I said, okay. So then when I came here, I was well aware about the weather. It's quite similar to Greece. It's something that I missed a lot in Scotland. So straight away it felt like home, not only because of the weather, but because of the people here. They showed me how much they wanted me at first, and then how much they wanted to take care of everything for me. So I came here, I didn't have any stress about the adjustment, about anything. And that's thanks to the people that they work for this club.
What do you think is the biggest cultural difference between Greece and Atlanta?
To be honest, we don't have massive cultural differences. I can tell that I adjusted easier here than in Scotland. Besides the fact that, okay, they are both of the countries that are in Europe, but you think about that and you say, oh, I'm going to travel to the other side of the world, and probably it's going to be a totally different culture, but I mean, in Greece we love Americans. We always have the American dream. We watch a lot of movies, so all of us, we try to, and even when it's a trend, we try to follow, to copy the Americans. So it's kind of the similar cultures down there. So it wasn't any shock for me.
What's your favorite part of Atlanta?
Part? Talking about area or?
It could be area, just something you've learned, whether if you're really into music, there's a big music scene here. You talked about watching movies. There's a lot of TV shows and movies that have been put on here. I don't know, just from your experience of being immersed more in Atlanta, what have you learned to grow to love about it?
I mean, it's a big city. It's a big city, and I can tell that it's a family area. You can grow up your family here as a parent, and it's something that I love because you have millions of options every day. You can go everywhere, every day in a different place. So it's a very nice place with loads of options for you and your family. And this is something that I love because, let's say the weather is bad, you can go in a mall. The weather is good, you have hundreds of options to go out there and do something. I mean, the lifestyle is great. Okay, I'm a family person, but whenever we have the chance to go out with my wife, I really love it, and I never regret it for a moment. My choice to come here.
How does Atlanta United differ from the other teams you've been a part of?
It's totally different. The approach on the game, the mentality. It's a bit more of a fun. The fans and even the players and the staff will try to enjoy the game. But back in Europe, where I played, the pressure was huge. So you didn't really enjoy every single moment. Here you try to enjoy more the sport, and maybe sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing, because sometimes pressure can give you motivation, but on the other hand, if it's too much, too high the pressure, it can limit your abilities, and maybe even mentally it can give you some limits, as I said, and you won't be 100% of yourself. So here you have the chance to give everything you can do, and I think I love it.
So which do you prefer? Do you prefer those high pressured situations with other teams you've been on?
To be honest, there are some moments that I feel, you know what, I would love to have a bit of pressure, a bit more of pressure, and for me and for my teammates. But everywhere I was in Europe, I had big pressure. So I think at first when I came here, when I arrived, I said I could breathe. So I could enjoy more the game. Afterwards, I started feeling that I need some push, I need some pressure, I need something more to give me this, not excitement exactly, because I'm excited every time that I play for Atlanta United, but this extra motivation.
With that edge, how do you find that extra pressure to kind of give you that edge to your game now? Sometimes, you say there's moments, so maybe there's times you feel it, maybe there's times there's don't. Where do you find that edge now?
You cannot find any pressure here, at least quite similar to Europe. But I'm a grown man. I'm almost 29, so I can motivate myself. I don't need the fans to give me some pressure, so they can motivate me. I mean, we have great fans, but it's different culture.
It's really interesting when you talk about like the difference between this team and Europe. So I'm curious, what was your perspective of Messi coming to MLS? Did you think it was kind of like, I mean, Messi's Messi, let's not get it wrong, but at the same time, it's still football.
Yeah. No, it was a huge movement from Miami for them and for the whole league. It's a big booster, this player. It's a big promotion for the league, even for us individually. It was something that I didn't expect, but I'm really happy that he's here, and this league is going to grow even more and more. And I know they have big dreams, to get to the top level. And if they continue like that, I think they will make it.
After the regular season wrapped up and you guys finished in Cincy, and you said something after the game that, this season has had a lot of ups and downs for you. What would you say has been the highest high for you this season and the lowest low?
The lowest period was when we played the Red Bulls away and we lost from the worst attack back then of the league, 4-0. Then I realized that we are in the bottom. This cannot go any worse. But don't get me wrong, at this time we had lack of players. We had sold our players that had been released, and we hadn't replaced them back then. As about the best form we've been, it wasn't a game, it wasn't 2 weeks period, it's a longer period. And since all the players arrived, I think the last month has been very, very good for us.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when we talked to Miles Robinson probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago, he just mentioned there's a lot of new faces and you're trying to build that camaraderie and learn player tendencies. How much do you think that's really grown in the last month as you guys kind of get closer to playoffs?
Yeah, of course. When the most you play with someone, the best you can connect. So it will take time. I mean, even now we feel that we're way better than 3 months ago, but as you imagine, next year is going to be even greater if you stay the same group and with some additions to the point. I think the team is going to be even more like a unit, and we will be able to do even greater things in the field. So I think it will take time. Like, even if you add some quality players, it will take time until you make it, the individuals, like a good unit.
You had 17 goals in the regular season, barely missing out on the Golden Boot. But what made you so effective this season offensively?
Made me individually or as a team?
Individually.
Nothing. I've been scoring the last 4 years like that. It's not something that made me I didn't change anything this season. It was the same formula that I followed the last years. Work, believe in myself, confidence that I get it from the club, and the people that they show me they believe in me, and of course my teammates helped me a lot with their passes and the way they were playing for me sometimes. So I can be grateful for them.
You're one of 3 finalists for Newcomer of the Year. What does that mean to you in your first full regular season with Atlanta United?
I mean, that's something nice, always, because you think that all the suffer you had this year and the effort you did, it paid off. It paid off. But it doesn't mean anything for me. I know what I did in my season. I don't need any trophy. I don't need anything to tell me what I did this season. As long as I'm happy with what I achieved, these things it's not a priority for me. It would be something nice to be the newcomer of the season, but I'm not even obsessed with that. You,
Thiago, Miles, all up for awards. What does it say about this team and the caliber of players that are here?
I think it says that we have very quality players and high-level individuals. And as I said before, by time, if we stick together, the same players, we will be able to really compete for the league, and be the favorites.
Playoffs right around the corner. How do you feel about the matchup with Columbus?
It's a team that really suits to us, the way they play. Of course, we're going to miss Thiago the first game, but we've been working hard the last 3-4 days, try to adjust to the game without Thiago. It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a tough game. We're going to give everything. We're really positive. We don't have any second thoughts about us. We're strong mentally, and we believe we can make it to the next round.
What kind of edge can this team have as they get into playoffs?
Sometimes playoffs can be sketchy because you can be the best team on the field, and I mean on the second round it's gonna be a single game, so you can be the best team and disqualify from to my playoffs. So from now on, of course, you have to be strong mentally, physically, make your best game. But at the end of the day, you have to be also lucky. I enjoy every single day here. I mean, our training facilities are one of the best. Our stadium is the best in the league. The fans are the best. So I enjoy every single day coming here, train with his squad. I really enjoy my life here as a professional and as a human being. But if I could pick a moment that really made me that took out the best feelings, emotions from me, it could be the last game against Cincinnati. I remember that I had 4 goals less than Bouanga, and the golden body wasn't even on my mind. So I scored the first goal. We celebrate all together, and then 4 or 5 players came to me and they said, 3 more, let's go. I didn't even have it in my mind. Then I scored the second goal, we celebrate again, they said 2 more, let's go. I was like, what? They put it in my mind, and then we go half-time and they say, guys, we have to play with Giakou. Give everything to Giakou, he has to be top scorer. I was like, guys, I didn't even ask you, we didn't even have this conversation before the game. They didn't even ask me like how many goals you are away from being top scorer. So I was like, what's going on? They really took my heart at this time. And I mean, probably I could make it if we were stay like 11v11, but I didn't care. I didn't care. The feelings they made me feel at this day, it's incomparable with anything, any prize and any goal.
Yeah, they really rallied kind of around you, right?
Exactly. Like, if I don't have it in my mind, which is a personal trophy, and you want me to win this trophy, that makes me feel that we're a unit. We're a big, good, strong unit.
How would you describe this unit? Like, what are some adjectives that come to mind? Like, because we're not in training every day. We're not around you guys every day. We talk to you here, but that's totally different, right? What is the personality and feel around this team for you?
It's a team that he wants always to win trophies. That's what they deserve every year, and that's why they try to sign the best players, and then if you combine the best player with a good manager that can make these individuals work out together, the goal and the aim is just to win everything possible. We didn't do well on the Cups this year. We made it to the playoffs. We came back to the playoffs, and I think this team is more like a season that we try to change things. In the roster, you see we changed many players and the way we play. So I think by time we can be even better and better. This year we will claim everything. We're gonna go for everything to win the league. We're gonna give our soul for that. But at the same time, we know that this is a transition team and transition season, and I think next year is gonna be even better, and the club is gonna have a more steady performance because, as I said, we have many ups and downs, and this didn't allow us to finish on the top 2 or 3 positions, which the way we play right now would easily end up in these positions on the ranking table. So next year, if it's going to be a more steady season with the same players and some special additions, it's going to be a massive difference for us.
Real quick, Ellie, what's on your mind?
World Series Game 1 tonight. Woo! I'm a baseball fan. If I had to make a prediction, Rangers in 6.
Hey, Rangers, look, I'll tell you, no matter where Bruce Bochy, look, that guy just knows how to
Postseason wizard.
He's one of the all-time great managers, honestly, when you think about it. I mean, he has everywhere he goes, they make the World Series, and they have a chance to win the World Series. So that's pretty dope. So, yeah, that's a lot to look forward to. Big sports weekend, obviously, Falcons, UGA, World Series, a lot of sports. If you're a sports fan, you're going to love it. That's been Sports Tonight here on a Friday. As for me, sports producer Scott Pennyman, the great Ellie, we're out of here. Have a great weekend. Go Falcons.